Okay people, a very quick run through of S3B, a memory series of synthesizers from Krakli software. Most of the controls on this instrument will be familiar to the people that have used S3 already. We have the oscillator section at the top here, we have the effects sections here at the bottom, an arpeggiator bringing up the bottom part of the GUI here. This whole oscillator section in the middle though, the oscillator control section in the middle here is a bit different. So I'll quickly skip through these controls at the top and we'll get straight onto this section in the middle here. If I just play a chord here. We've got the normal modulation section here, which gives you the richness of sound as all the oscillators fight against each other. Then we have the tone here, the white noise addition. Standard ADSR. And we have vibrato, which has a delay mechanism to make it so that the vibrato comes in after a short delay from the note start. Okay, straight onto this section then, which is a little bit more interesting hopefully for users of S3. And each one of these tablets, I guess you could call them, actually controls a bank of oscillators. So you can see there's 9 of the tablets and each bank has about 3 oscillators running against it. So that when we're adjusting the modulation controls up here, we're adjusting the modulation of the oscillators within each one of these banks. There's these handy little toggle boxes at the bottom of each one of the banks, and that enables you to go down to a single oscillator. So I'm running with a single bank of 3 oscillators here now. The volume control for that bank here. Okay, and again the modulation controls here affect that whole bank. As does the vibrato. Okay, what do we have here? I'm going to ignore the top control for a moment, which is to do with the pulse that I'll come back to in a moment. The second toggle here controls the waveform. And the bottom toggle control. There's a 5-octave range on that control. Okay, let me just switch a few more of these oscillator banks back on. We'll just have 4 running on this patch. By mixing together various footages or octaves, you can get some quite interesting effects even on its own. Just clipping a little bit there, I'll just take the volume down a tad. Okay, now we come to the pulse control, and this is a bit of an unusual thing to explain, but I'll try my best. Above each bank I have a toggle here which determines whether or not the pulse control is going to affect this oscillator. So I have an off position if I don't want it to be affected by the pulse control, and numbers from 1 through 8. And basically the pulse control steps through a sequence and will boost the signal of each one of these oscillators determined by the main amount control here, but on the step that you set at the top. So if I just select one of Himalaya's presets here, then you should get an idea of that effect at work here. You can see we've got the pulse control turned on. This controls the speed of the pulse in relation to the BPM of the host, and then you can see I've got pretty much all the oscillators running, so I've got 8 of the oscillators running, and I've got them all running on different pulses here. So what it's going to do is actually boost the level of each one of those oscillator banks in time with the rhythm. Okay, now on this particular patch, what Himalaya's also done here is to have it so that we've got the arpeggiator running as well. So therefore, that arpeggiator is running. If I put that to a 3-octave range, you'll probably hear that effect more. And obviously, because of the way that this patch has been set up, those pulses are acting almost like a wave sequence, that they're going through each one of those oscillators in turn. And this patch that we've set up here now is probably a good excuse to show you the last controls we have down the bottom here. We have the phase control, which is the equivalent of what's called an all-pass filter. It's trying to emulate a bucket brigade device, which is the old. It's trying to give the classic phase in. Reverb here. We have the controls for the reverb, size, damp and width of the reverb, which gives it a stereo effect. But you won't hear the reverb in the mix unless I put the slider up here. Now if I take the decay of that sound right down, you should hopefully hear the reverb. We've also got an echo running there as well. We have an ensemble effect. These are actually pitch shifters, 2 sets of pitch shifters against the thing, and these give an extra richness to the sound. We have a fairly standard delay. And last but not least, we have a high-pass, low-pass filter array. And you'll also notice with the high-pass, low-pass that as I turn the low-pass down, it will actually, I can't have the controls going past each other's cut-off point. So therefore, it will never go beyond a bandpass type arrangement. So as I move the high-pass up, you can see that low-pass also goes up in its place, and vice versa. These are fairly steep filters that help you to trim the sound a bit more. We've already had a quick look at the arpeggiator. If I set up a sound which has got a bit more of an attack, and then we'll just try a few of the arpeggiation. Again, you've got the clock divisions here, and you've got the type of arpeggiation of up, down, and down and up, or up, down twice and down, up twice. And the range of octaves that the arpeggiation goes through. You can also switch it either to only play when you hold the keys down, or it will play continually on a hold basis if you change those toggle over there. So let's just hear this effect. We'll go a up-down pattern here with a 4-octave range. I'll bring the echo up so that we get a nice rhythmic effect going on. So yeah, we pretty much have it there. S3B, a slight move on from S3. There will be S3C coming out, which is taking this idea a stage further. It has a similar oscillator section, but it has individual envelopes for each one of these banks, and they are also graphic envelopes as well. So there's some other little bells and whistles on S3C that isn't on S3B. And there's also an S3K will be coming out, which is a mono lead synth, which has a bit of an evil sound. But that's in the future. For now, you've got S3B to play with, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.